So Luke, the Sportsman here in the Brotherhood, we want to have a little preview about your beloved Aston Villa. So, starting off, Aston Villa, we are looking at odds of 33 to 1 with Bet365 that Aston Villa are going to win the Championship. Before the start of last season, did you think you were going to win the league?
Do you know what? Obviously, every season that we've been down here, at the start of that season, I thought, surely this year. And here we are now in our third season. And let's be honest, with how it's gone so far, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Let's be honest. And to be honest, like, do you know what? A couple of quid on it wouldn't go amiss. Because, you know, 33 to 1 is good odds. And unless an absolute madness happens, right, then, you know.
You're saying it's a couple of quid, Steve Bruce out the door, Dean Smith in. Is he going to get the momentum? Do you think you can go on a mad run and get into those spots? What do you think of Dean Smith?
Look, I hope so, because we had Bruce, we got frustrated under Bruce. It's like this, right? Anyone that goes to the Villa, they'll know. With Bruce, we'll go a couple of goals up, and he will sit back, he will take off attacking players, he will like to soak up the pressure to the point where the pressure gets unbearable, and we concede a couple of goals, we draw the game, and like, I think Brentford was a key example where, you know, when we went ahead in the game twice, I think, and they come back. And it was frustrating. And now under Dean Smith, I feel like he's a more attacking-minded manager. He's gonna, you know, he ain't gonna make them negative changes if we go a couple of goals up. I think if we did go 2-0 up in a game, then I think he will keep attacking players on the pitch to maintain that attacking stability, to maybe go on and get a third or a fourth. But with Bruce, it was always the other way around. So I guess from Bruce to Smith, the only way is up, to be honest. That's my honest opinion on it. The only way is up. So
again, I don't want to keep downing you with Steve Bruce, but where were you watching the playoff final and what were your emotions like?
The playoff final. Okay, so the day before my playoff final, before the Villa playoff final, I had my operation. I had my ACL reconstructed, my meniscus repaired, everything. It was a big operation. The next day I went to my friends on my crutches, in my leg cast and everything, delicate as anything, watching it in the living room. And literally, I was so gutted because, well, we lost. As soon as Carney scored, I thought, are we even going to get back into this game? It just doesn't look positive at all. The football we were playing, it just didn't look like at all we were going to get back into the game. And that was the first half out of the way. And then I'm pretty sure, if I recall, Fulham got a man sent off. I can't remember at what point it was, but even then, we just didn't look like we were going to get back into the game. And like, the season we had, you know, we had an up and down season. We went through to the playoffs. We done well to beat Borough in the playoffs, home and away, to get through, well, away and then drew at home, to get to Wembley, and then to throw it all away in what seems 45 minutes because of how bad we were in that first half. I'm getting I feel like I'm burning up talking.
Let's get a better moment for you. So, looking back all the years you've been a Villa fan, I'm putting you on the spot here, but what's been your most memorable, favourite moment? Is there a standout?
Two. There's two. 100% two. You never forget your first game. My first game, I was either 13 or 14. I think I was 13, nearly 14. It was like pre-season time. And we played Inter Milan at home. Now, if you're like an older Villa fan or even, you know, mid-20s like myself, you'll probably remember this. We beat them 3-0 at home. It was pretty solid, and that's my first game. I was like, okay, I like this. I wasn't like, that wasn't the day I became a Villa fan. It was like, maybe I'm a good luck charm, you know. We're beating Inter 3-0. Come on, I should go to these games more often. And my dad used to take me to them and stuff. And then, but also, that aside, the second one, it has to be when we beat Blues 5-1. Absolutely the most. I went with my best friend from school, and I had two other good friends of mine in the Blues end, big Blues fans. We argued every day at school. School was mad. Argued all the time about Villa Blues. Used to get kicked out of lessons and everything. I wouldn't advise it. If you're watching this and you're at school, stay in school, study hard, and do well for yourself. But I remember ringing him up at half-time, and I was like, Gary, what's the score? We were 2-0 up at half-time. I was like, have some of that. And like, he just hung up on me. So, I mean, them two got to be the standout memories for me, being a Villa fan. over the time a long time that I've been a Villa fan.
Nice. Back to the current season, and looking at your strikers, Jonathan Kodja, he's 50-1 with Bet Victor to be the top goal scorer. What do you think of him as a player? Is he a favourite player at the moment, and do you think he can do the business to fire you back up?
Kodja, I'm sure many Villa fans will agree that since his injury at Blues, where I think he fractured something in his ankle or his lower leg, he hasn't been the same. He hasn't been firing the same. He hasn't looked the same. And especially this season, it's almost second in line, because we're usually going with one up front. Again, Dean Smith's philosophy might change things. We might go two up front, and then it might be Kodja and Abraham. But as it stands with the one up front, I think Abraham's going to be picked ahead of Kodja. So I think, yeah, that would be my views on that. I can't see Kodja personally getting that golden boot for the championship this season. Can't see, unless Abraham gets a bad injury, Kodja refines his form of a couple of seasons ago. That's the only way I can see it happening.
And finally, who's your all-time favourite ever Villa player?
I don't like. I can see a lot of Villa fans are going to hate me for this, but for me, especially, you know, growing up when he was in his prime for Villa, he was banging them against Blues. They already know what I'm going to say from just saying banging them against Blues. Gabriel Agbonlahor. The reason, I know he was a bit of a, you know, a this and that at the end of his Villa career. We know that he was awful. He couldn't hit a barn door, but over the years, for me growing up, seeing Agbonlahor score the goals in the big games against Blues, for me, that gave him that hero status for me. Because that meant I could go to school, rip into the Blue Noses, and get sent out of every class that I ever went into.
Spot on. Let's move on to the Championship now. All right, so looking at who do you think is going to win the league in the Championship? We've got Leeds, our favourite now. West Brom, Middlesbrough, Derby are doing well. Who do you think is going to win the league?
Yeah, as you said there, like the names that you just read out, a good shape for all of them. You look at the EPL teams that come down, any of them have got a chance to go back up, because they've still got decent squads. They'll probably be able to handle themselves well in the Championship, unlike us in our first season. But let's be honest, when we got relegated, we had the worst season ever in, like, as far as I'm concerned, Villa history. It was horrendous. But I like the way you mentioned Derby, because under Lampard they're looking good, and they could be dark horses to win the league. It sounds erratic, but you know what? It could happen.
You can get Derby at 10-1, so a really, really good price.
10-1. I'd whack a tenner on that. 100 quid back, because dark horses for me, Derby, looking all right.
You experienced the playoffs first time last year, but again, what was the playoffs like, and who do you think this year could go and do well in the playoffs? It's hard to say, but again, looking at the teams, Brentford, they've sort of dropped off after Dean Smith. You've got people like Stoke in there, they've had a terrible start, but
Swansea are creeping back up as well. They're
again,
not too far off it. Even
40-1 to go up.
Do you know how annoying that is? So that should be 250-1 to go. Like, that's ridiculous. But the names that you've just reeled off again, they're all in there for a shout. I would, at least this season as a Villa fan, hope to be seeing myself at a playoff final, at least. I'm hoping for a mad turnaround under Dean Smith, but yeah, hopefully the Villa are in there. Stoke could be up there. Again, any of the EPL teams that come down are going to be there or thereabouts. Classic Steve Bruce words. Well, yeah, I'm just hoping out of all of them names you reeled off, Birmingham take a firm seat the other way.
Finally, I want to move on to the top goal scorer. Is there any players that you've seen this year or in the Championship that you think, any other player from any opposition you thought they've been shit hot? Is there any sort of standout opposition players?
For the top goal scorer?
Or just in general, really?
Do you know what? Like, for me, Dwight Gale is probably the best Championship striker down here at the moment for West Brom. their move, their swap deal, it was Rondon that went the other way, I'm right in saying, and then Dwight Gale come back down to West Brom. That was such a nice move for West Brom. Like, for me, he's the Championship's best striker, and he will alone get the goals required to send West Brom back up either first, second. I think they'll get automatic for me. West Brom, annoying to say because they are a rival team. For me, it's not a bigger rivalry as Blues, but they are still a rival team. But for me, Dwight Gale, when Newcastle were in the Championship, he was class. So
yeah, it's interesting to say that West Brom you can get 11-2 still to go up, and Dwight Gale you can get 5-1 to be top goal scorer. So really good odds. Final thing from you, Luke. What's going to happen in May, end of season? How is Aston Villa's season going to end? What's going on in your head and what's going on in your heart? What do you think is going to happen?
My head is saying that we can still do something with this season. Although we're closer to the relegation zone than we are the playoffs, right? Still early, it's still tight. We can do something. My head's optimistic. Can we push for an automatic? That's my head. A lot of optimism up here. However, my heart is saying that, and my heart would settle for another playoff final. But this time, with good football, a positive manager, a decent team, because January is to come, we'll get in the defenders that we need. And then I think we'll do it right this year if we get to that playoff final. That's what my heart's saying. Playoff final, this time we win.